Welcome back to Guess What Day It Is. Today we're checking out a couple things you don't normally see on the bench here. And we're going to check out a CD player that I think somebody's been in before. So let's take a look. This should be a quick one. I've got a nice Seagram 7 sign. We're just going to see if the power's on. I don't even know what kind of light's in this thing, but we will find out. Let's plug it in. Oh, looky there. That was easy. Let's check the switch. Appears to be a fluorescent. Looks good. Clean it up. Get that up in the booth. Here's another quick and easy item to test. Got a Blatz, I don't know, dancing guy sign or something. Pretty cool. It looks like they're missing something that would be like a, I'm assuming a cane or something like that, but otherwise in pretty decent shape. This has a light bulb socket, so we are going to pretty much just plug it in and see if we've got power going to the bulb. So let's go ahead and do that. Otherwise, I don't think there's much that we can do to it. I seriously doubt that there's going to be any issues with this. So let's get our meter set up in a safe manner. Let's see if I can find a way to get my probe in there without arcing a whole bunch of stuff. So we're gonna see if that'll clip to the ground. Okay, that should work. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna plug it into the dim bulb tester just to make sure. I would screw a light bulb into this, but I don't have the bulb yet. It's gonna have to be a thin, very thin bulb to actually fit in there. So hopefully I can find one of those. I know they make LED fancy replacements. That's kind of maybe the way we have to go, but at least we can make sure electrically it's working. So my dim bulb tester has an on and off switch. So what I'm going to do is get this kind of set up, make sure I'm not touching anything improperly, nothing's shorted. We'll flip on the switch, watch our voltage, 120 volts, turn her off. If we have a good bulb in there, we should be good to go. So once again, I know this isn't a real in-depth test, but this thing is freaking cool, and we got to check it out anyway. So onto the booth it goes. Next, we've got a Sony CDP 110. So the first thing we're going to have to do before we do anything is take it apart, because, well, there's obviously a CD floating around in there. This also didn't come with a cord, but I think I've got the cord. So let's get that CD out of there first, maybe take a peek what's going on inside. This thing is filthy. One more screw. right in the back here. It's kind of an interesting one. It's got a little notch at the end. Wonder if that's supposed to kind of stay in there or what. But anywho, yep. All right. Since we got it apart, we can kind of look at everything and see what we got before we power it on. What a clean circuit board. It's kind of funny. As dirty as the outside is, this actually looks pretty good on the inside. Checking the caps, I don't see anything busted or leaking or swollen. That cap is kind of swollen. I don't know. It could be just the way I'm looking at it. So let's give this one a try and see what we got here. First of all, we need to make sure that the cord I have is going to work. Yep, looks like it will. So Sony has a kind of a little bit of a different cord, but look at that. We are good. All right, this particular CD player is old enough to just have the stereo RCA outs. There's no digital output on that. So we're gonna hook it up to the old bench stereo here. We don't even know if it powers up, and we'll just go ahead and do this now. All right, plug it in. See if it turns on. It does indeed turn on. Look at that. Man, this may be one of the most robust CD trays I've seen. Looks like it has some sort of a sensor there. Well, so there appears to be an issue with it spinning the CD. Let's see. Just want to make sure there's not something obvious that is. There's a motor trying to do something here. Interesting. Let's see if there's any broken gears or anything that's obvious. It's pretty encouraging that it just opens to start with. That's always just the tray itself being operative. Okay, there may be some sort of a belt that is no longer with us. So, whoops, I wonder, there's one belt down there. All right, let us plug that back in. There's a motor up front here that I'm not sure if that's what I'm listening to. Interesting. Trying to figure out the best position for that to be in to disassemble it. It's probably not going to stay in there. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. Okay. Trying to see what it's going to take to get this assembly off. Is there a... So that panel will not give us access to anything mechanical. Let's see. Let's see, one screw. Looks like there might be a screw from the bottom. Nope, no screw from the bottom. Interesting. Doesn't appear that there's a whole lot holding this in. Actually, there's a screw missing, I think. So, interesting. Well, I'm going to pause this video and figure out how to get in there, and we'll pick it up. So there are quite a few screws missing out of this. So somebody's been here before. So what it looks like, there's a mechanism that as the tray pushes back, it's supposed to push down on this arm and hold the CD. And whatever that mechanism is that grabs that roller right here to push it down is gone. So this one's going to be put aside. Electronics look like they're working, so this might be a good parts unit or something. I'm pretty sure there's another Sony at my parents' house that we might be able to harvest some parts from. But for now, this one's going to go on the side, and we'll see what else we got. So what do you think? Checking out beer signs is so much easier than checking out stereos and other vintage electronics, let me tell you. I really, really like that Seagram sign. It's probably one of the cheapest and cheesiest of the ones that we're gonna have in our booth, but when it lights up, it really pops. So that's pretty cool. That Blatz sign, I remember that from when I was a kid. That's been around my parents' house for a very long time. I didn't realize that it had a light socket in the bottom, so that's great. We are going to have to find a bulb. It's going to have to be long and skinny. I think it's the bulbs I've seen in the past are probably about 3 or 4 inches long, about 1 inch in diameter, not much bigger than the actual base of the bulb, but I'm sure we can find that. So, and with that CD player, you know, sometimes when you buy stuff at garage sales, you really don't know what you're getting into. As soon as I saw a couple of those screws missing, I knew something was going to be awry. So probably some good harvestable parts. So we're going to put that one on the side, and you know, we'll see what happens. So thank you again for watching. Once again, these are kind of behind the scenes as we check out some of the more electrical things that we put out on the floor of our antique booth. Make sure you check out our Wednesday videos where you get a perspective of the booth itself, and we also give a recap on what sold and how much did it sell for. So please check that out. Thank you again for watching. Hit that like button and subscribe, and we'll see you next week on Guess What Day It Is.